Daniel, we would never ask the Scottish government, are you better at handling money than Westminster? We would just assume that on a regional basis, Edinburgh probably knows what to do best. We wouldn't ask California whether they're better at spending it than Washington. California would presumably be better at spending its own money rather than having a federal oversight. So why do we actually think that the current deal between Catalonia and Madrid is acceptable?
Well, I think that first, no comparison, is that the level of autonomy that the regional government of Catalonia has on healthcare, education, on infrastructure, on all aspects of money management is unequaled to any of those regions, no question. I mean, the level of autonomy is much higher. But in any case, it can be higher, and it can be agreed, and obviously where we need to go in Europe is to a system that, if the European Union is going to be successful, it needs to have levels of management of money that are closer to the voter. That is absolutely fine. That doesn't mean implementing. That doesn't mean implementing borders.
Hold your
Absolutely,
horses.
absolutely.
Hold
yes.
your horses there. Hang on, didn't Macron want a European finance minister?
No, that is different.
Hang on, it's not different, because you just said for the European Union project to be successful,
yes,
you need something that's closer to the voter.
Sure.
Surely, if you have a pan-European finance ministry and an unelected pan-European finance minister, that is further away from the people.
No, I mean, let's
Do you
start.
agree with me or you don't?
Do I agree with Macron? I think that we have established that in this program numerous times that I don't.
We should have pan-European authorities.
Let me put it this very, very clearly, and I've written about it many times.
I know you have.
I am completely against a pan-European finance minister and an European monetary fund. Completely against it.
Okay, so
and
Macron's
Eurobonds. Why? Because they are perverse incentives. I completely disagree with it. However, on the point of Catalonia, which is the point, is the solution is not to put borders. The solution is to improve what is already a good system of autonomy. And what is happening here is that they are using the subterfuge of allegedly democratic instruments to implement a secession that only serves the interest of the bureaucrats. It has absolutely nothing to do with freedom, because they don't want to get out of the European Union. The Brexiters, everybody that's the libertarians, please, the separatists in Catalonia don't want to leave the European Union. They want to be more interventionist than the European Union is itself. If you look at every single aspect of their independence declarations. So the point here is about how do we get things to improve for the Catalan people, and obviously for Spain, and obviously for the European Union. And that has to be through a better management.
Do you think everyone's forgotten the crisis already? I mean, it's been, what, a decade? But, you know, when it came around and when countries needed help, who did they turn to? They turned to Brussels, and they turned to bailout funds. So effectively, if you're going to have a backstop for Europe, doesn't there need to be more integration for the next crisis? And when you talk about a finance minister, it's not a finance minister for Europe who's taking all the money from all these countries and say, ha-ha, I get to manage all the money. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about attention to detail on budgets, having a concerted strategy forward for these countries, and not having too much fragmentation.
An extra level of bureaucrats, an extra level of finance ministry and sub-ministers.
But
you're saying they're not taking... But this is perhaps the biggest problem that British...
Nominate a department in Brussels where you can take some money from.
I think you're right on paper, and you're right on execution. Is that the problem of the European Union is precisely that? Is that what you have just said can be solved without the need of a super minister or of a monetary fund. It can be done with a better management of credit. At the end of the day, it's all about being responsible.